So today we're going to talk about how you train and upgrade your employee to take over your position, but then you align your talents with the opportunity to continue to move on. If you're stuck, we're going to get unstuck together. So this episode is going to help significantly. I was talking to a gentleman quite a while back, but he's a real important thought leader in the community. And one of the things he said is, I would never promote somebody unless they have promoted the replacement. And it took me a second to understand that. So you're not going to get promoted until you promote your replacement. When I thought about it, it makes sense. Why? Because if you are not able to promote somebody that is working for you, help them increase their abilities to get to the next level, how can you be expected to continue to lead others and get promoted? So it made actually perfect sense. Meaning, if you cannot promote, you cannot be promoted. Meaning, being promotable is key. And that is by being able to rise above and find somebody else that can rise above. If you don't hire correctly, you don't promote correctly, then you will be at a standstill, according to this thought leader. So it does make sense when you think about it. Today, I want to focus on the 3 steps of why it's going to be so imperative to get unstuck and then finding ways to get better at what you do. The first one is understanding your abilities. And the understanding your abilities really is from how careers get stuck. And the number one is the loss of momentum. Early on in your career, you're fired up, you're ready to go, you're an excited Gen Z and millennial. And the first stages in your professional life often seem to climb itself because you volunteer for projects, you ask questions, you work with the kind of visible energy that everybody wants to gravitate to. Managers then reward you for this gravitating towards these projects, and you grow quickly, which means your responsibility, your visibility, your learning increases as time goes on. As the environment changes, you begin to become stable. Maybe you start focusing on family, and your career takes sort of a back seat. Well, you may be thriving at what you're doing, but you're not increasing your overall learning process. So performance for many professionals becomes very reliable on the stages of their life. But that's where the growth seems to slow. Promotions rarely depend on just being the reliable person alone because organizations reward visible trajectory as much as competence. And once the learning curve begins to flatten, this signals that your upward mobility will begin to fade. That's the number one reason why you become stuck at where you're at. The other one is the erosion of support structures. The second pattern of this appears in the background of the most successful careers, and then it becomes visible once it disappears. Professional advancement rarely happens through performance alone. You have to have somebody that helps you navigate through the difficult times. These are mentors. They help guide you, and other colleagues help reinforce your ability to move forward. So if your support structure stays intact, you can likely continue to get promoted. But if people get promoted or you lose your momentum, you're not focusing, you're not getting fired up and getting excited about your career, you find yourself just kind of going through the motion. Yes, it happens. It happens to the best of us. There are times in our careers where we are motivated. We are going the extra mile. We are finding projects. We are doing everything we can to be better, bigger and better in everything we do. But then there becomes a period of time where we have a lull in the process. That lull means you become satisfied. You're not as hungry. Maybe you had a family. Maybe you're focused on that.